Welcome to Opening Soon, a podcast where we interview retail founders about how they started and run their brick and mortar businesses. I'm your host, Alan Lee. I run Signs and Mirrors, where we make beautiful signs and furniture for retail stores. I also help run PhotoLab, a self portrait studio with locations in New York City and Houston. Today's guest, Nicole, is the founder of Glo Up, a beauty brand and spray tan studio based in Chicago. Nicole started her career in hospitality working in restaurants and nightclubs before she was 21, before discovering spray tanning while living in Boston. What began as a side hustle in her basement in 2019 has since grown into a thriving storefront, product line, and multi-service beauty hub. In this episode, we dive into how Nicole grew Glow Up from just $417 in her first month to over $70,000 a month in revenue, survived COVID by launching her own spray tan product line, and dealt with major setbacks, both professional and personal. This is a must listen for anyone interested in building a brick and mortar business in the beauty and wellness space. Nicole, thanks so much for joining the Opening Soon podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, really excited to dive into Glow Up and what you've built in Chicago. But before we dive in, could you give me a little bit more background about yourself and how you got here today?
Yeah. Well, I'm 35. I love beauty and I worked in hospitality my whole life, but I knew that beauty was calling my name. Um, Once I got a little bit older, I decided to go to aesthetic school. I wasn't quite sure what niche I wanted to get into. I was living in Boston and I was waiting to take my state boards and I started working at a spray tan salon and
Mm,
I fell in love with it. Worked there for a year, learned everything I know today, moved back to Chicago and started a spray tan business basically in my basement. I went back into hospitality just a little bit to kind of like meet people again. And they would see my makeup, my hair, my skin, and they would ask
yeah.
me about, that.
Yeah.
And as time went by, I got bigger and bigger and I kind of created this whole brand. So it started as just something in my basement and then it turned into like products, skincare line, events, videos, branding, social
Wow.
media. Yeah, it kind of like snowballed. Now I have a storefront. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, we're really excited to dive into all the
Yeah.
different aspects of the business. But tell me a little bit more about the hospitality. What did that entail and what were you doing in Boston?
Yeah, so I started working at 15. My first job was at Dairy Queen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had to get a worker's permit. So I've always been a hustler. So
Okay.
my mom had to sign off so I could work child labor.
Yeah.
Um, but I,
I think rules were a little bit different
yeah,
back then too.
yeah. So I come from very blue collar, middle class family. So if you wanted extra stuff, like you had to work. And I played sports, so I was very dedicated to like a goal, right? So I started there, and then from there I got into working in retail, and then I thought it was like not enough money, and I started working at a nightclub while I was in high school, working the
Mm.
door. So from there I saw
Is this like working the door as in you're the one letting people in?
they were doing the IDs and I was 17 taking the money for the register. And I wasn't
Oh,
even old enough
wow.
to be there. But
Yeah.
it was different times. The door guy knew and the bartender knew, but I presented myself older. I didn't drink. I just stayed in the front and I did my business and then I would go back home. So from there, because I was such a hard worker and I didn't drink, I didn't get involved in drama because I was too young.
Yeah.
All these other bar owners and restaurateurs hiring me. They're like,
Mm,
"She's professional, she makes us a lot of money, and she doesn't give us problems." So from there, I started working at all these really high-end restaurants downtown Chicago and hotels as I
I
got
see.
older. Yeah, so my background is hospitality and working with, like, celebs, athletes, politicians, and, like, everyday people. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. And then you also said in Boston, that's when you got introduced to spray tans,
Yep,
and being in the
and
Northeast, you probably don't get much sun
correct.
most of the year.
Yeah.
Tell me about your first experience with spray tans and what made you fall in love.
Yeah, so lived out there and I never really knew what a spray tan was. Maybe I heard like back in the day what that could be, but my teacher was like, "Hey, I work at a spray tan salon. It's really, really busy." I had no idea, but I did notice in aesthetic school, a lot of the people there are really fair skinned. Like you said, I mean, just like Chicago, winter a lot of the year, not a lot of sun.
Yeah.
And people are a lot of professionals. And what I've noticed, people that have professional jobs in higher education, they know that the sun, is not the best for the face. It ages
Yep.
you. So a lot of those people have really good disposable income because they have very good jobs. It's very expensive to live. So I started working at this salon and they were coming in every week because they had events and they had weddings and bachelorette parties. And I couldn't believe how big of an industry it was, even though I didn't really know too much about it.
So repeat clients were coming in, some were coming on a weekly basis?
Yeah. So they come in every Thursday, same time. See you next week. And I'm
Wow.
talking like this place was probably the size of like a third of my salon. It was in the north end and it wasn't fancy. It was just like I would be spraying and I would be touching the other girl behind me spraying in the other. It was just separated by curtains. Like it was
Oh
so
my gosh.
like hodgepodge, but the line was out the door. I couldn't believe
Wow.
it. Yeah. So I saw the business model. I'm like, this is incredible. The people are happy. It's 15 minutes. At first, I was scared, but when I got to it, I thought it was an amazing process. You're tan, it looks natural, it doesn't smell, doesn't streak. It's incredible. So then I started working with the chemist from there that they used. And I really got into it like even deeper and realized that he is the chemist for really big companies and works in Hollywood for the last like 30 years.
Hmm. And when
So
you say chemist, what does that mean specifically? Does that mean the color of the tan that you're getting or
yeah.
something else?
Yeah, so spray tanning is not all equal. So that's why you see some people look orange or some people smell. This chemist has been creating formula for like really big companies all over the world. And he just so happened to make it for this owner. And she
Mm,
knew him and started this relationship like directly. So has formulated like clean, organic, paraben free, vegan, doesn't smell, doesn't streak, just very high end. He actually was the first one to create mobile spray tanning. So, because we had that solution, that machine, that technique, our spray tans were very different than the surrounding areas, if that
mm.
makes sense. It was just better technology, higher end, professional, medical grade ingredients, because he's essentially the guy that started spray tanning the machine, everything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I guess, if he's creating this formula for tanning and spray tanning, is he only selling to specific clients and he's not making it accessible for everyone?
So different formulas, right? So he made
Mhm.
a formula for this big company. I can't say the name because there was an NDA, but they're a formula for him, for them. And they're
I
like a
see.
worldwide company, a formula for her, a formula for people in Utah, like based
Ah,
off of whatever you want. So if you want more aloe vera or coconut, he can do that, you know? But it's kinda rare to work with a chemist. Like, most people, they go on Amazon or just on a website and they use, like, Norvell or Astrolie or some of these other
yep,
brands that are kinda more common, and they're good, but just not as, high
I see.
end. Yeah. It's a
So
little bit
you
more
had to work with him
expensive.
to
Yeah.
get a much more high-end formula for your clients that had a better skin feel, smell.
Mhm. It comes off differently, like, it's, not so thick. It really
Gotcha.
is, like, pristine, you know?
Gotcha. That makes sense. And when you said you went to esthetician school or aesthetic school,
Yeah.
how many years was that? And what was your plan going in?
Yeah.
It seemed like spray tanning was something you discovered, but you
Yeah.
might have planned to do something else.
Yeah, I did. So I originally was going to nursing school when I was in Chicago. At the time, I met someone and I got engaged and I was moving around the country for his job. So I kept changing schools and they're like, you're never going to finish nursing school because it's different qualifications in each state. So I'm like, you know what? I only wanted to do nursing because I wanted to do aesthetics. Like I wanted to do injecting or Botox, all that.
Yeah.
So that kinda was, like, knock my dream was knocked down. So, when I moved to Boston, like, I'm gonna do aesthetic school, and just gonna do facials, organic, like, kinda stuff that I can do to manipulate the skin more like facials, waxing, lymphatic, where I can change the skin in, like, a healthy way, work with people with acne or wrinkles, something, like, along those lines.
Yeah. Okay. And so you're in aesthetic school, you discover spray tans. What's the next step? How do you get to Chicago? And then how do you build up your book of business?
Yeah. So and also I didn't answer your question. Aesthetic school is like maybe a year. And I ended up working at my school. So I didn't miss a day. I was so into it. I was one of the oldest people in my class. I sat in front and I didn't miss any days. So I got perfect attendance. And then they asked me to work the student clinic because I never worked in a salon. So I wanted to manage the books and figure out the business side and inventory and like how much things cost. So once I got that under my belt and I was working at the spray tan salon, I felt comfortable when I came back to Chicago for my it was for my partner's job. So I moved
Yeah.
back and to be close to family. I was like, I'm just going to start. I know the basics. I reach out to the chemist. I got the same machine, the same setup, told him, hey, you don't know me. I know you. I'm using your product. I love it. Can we have a
Yeah.
partnership? He's like, yes, I'll help you. This is what you need. So we became like, like he was a mentor. He's much older and he's helped so many businesses and he's more like retired. So he's just trying to help people like me, that have this
Yeah.
big dream. So yeah, so I started in my basement and I was shamelessly promoting spray tanning when everyone's like, what the heck is that? I created the name Glow Up and it on Instagram it looked like gloop. So people were like messaging me like, did you get hacked? This is so stupid.
Yeah.
And
And what year is this?
this was in 18 or 29.
2019, you start in
Yeah,
your basement, you're promoting it.
February
Okay.
2019, the first sprays I was doing for the Super Bowl. So my first month, I only made like $417
Yeah.
and I only had like 12 clients. And I was like, this is good. Like, see how this goes. And I'll just give you reference. Like, the most clients we have like in a month is like 1100, so it's like crazy.
1100. You have 1100 now.
Yeah, like in
Wow.
May, like usually in May we'll have that. And this is years later, but it's just to see how much it's grown, It's really
Yeah.
insane.
And how much were you charging for a spray tan, in your basement? And how much does a spray tan cost now?
Yeah, so I started at I think like 30, but I would give away so many services and I would work like I would do it in my garage, like not my garage, my basement. It was like a whole setup. I set up like a little salon and then I would go to people's house. So like let's say a group wants it at 10 p.m. in the city in a weird neighborhood, I would go. Like I just
Oh,
said
wow.
yes to everyone. So I was very shameless. I'm like, I'm the spray tan girl. I'm going to teach you about spray tans. I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm going to like drill it into your head because people were so like against it. They're like, ugh. So I really changed my environment in Chicago. Now, after I started, there's like probably like 50 to 60 girls that do what I do that before there was like only one or two.
Yeah. And why were people against it in the beginning? And how did you make them more comfortable?
So I had to do a lot of education. Well, I'm not sure where you're located, but I know in
I'm in
LA.
New York.
Okay, New York. Okay. So New York, Boston, LA, Miami. Lots of TV, film, celebs, events, very high end things. So you guys get the best fashion, you get the best skincare, the best procedures first. It slowly works its way into the middle of the country. We're Midwest still. We have different
Mm,
values. Like we're not doing, runway and all that kind of stuff. So people were getting cheaper products. They don't see the celebs all the time with like they don't realize everyone on TV has spray tan. Everyone has the high-end makeup and the Botox.
yeah.
So it's just a different mindset out here. So they think it's going to be like Snooki from New Jersey. Like that's what they
Yeah.
think.
From Jersey Shore.
Yeah, so that's what they think. So I had to change everyone's mind, education and showing like before and after. Come in, it doesn't smell. Ask your husband. And the husbands would literally say, my wife does not smell after coming to you. Like, I don't know what you do, but it's working.
Huh. And
Yeah.
this is largely because of the nice formula that you created with this chemist.
Yep. It's the formula and the technique. So people get
I see.
streaks and we coat the whole body a certain way. And it's definitely the formula and the machines that we're using.
Hmm. And you said you would also go to different people's places.
Hmm.
So this machine is portable.
Yes. It's portable. I had the heavier ones at first, but now we've kind of like you kind of figure out what works and what's the best.
Okay. That makes sense. So you're hustling. It's February 2019. Tell me what happens over the next year. And
Yeah.
when did you decide to officially open your physical location?
Yep. Well, February 2019, what happened after that? COVID, right? 2020. So I literally signed a lease for a little salon suite that I was very nervous about because I'm like, oh my God, I never had to pay rent and now I do. And it's a lot for me. Like, can I afford it? Because I was
Yeah.
still growing. And then COVID happened. I'm like, "Oh my god, I just bought all the furniture and I spent all this money. Like, what's gonna
When did
happen?"
you sign this new lease?
I signed it, I don't know, I signed it right before.
Like
And then like
January, February 2020?
yeah, yeah, around that time, and then,
Wow.
like, everything started happening, like, March, April, like, where it was, like, really shut down. I'm like, "Oh my god," like, "No." So, what I ended up doing was my chemist sent me these spray bottles of the self-tanner, the same solution we use in salon, and it's organic, paraben-free, vegan, no ethanol, so it's really clean, you can eat it. It sprays the same upside down, so easy to use. So, I never used it. And I gave it to one of my clients who works at Neiman Marcus. And she's like, "Nicole, that product is amazing. While everyone's
Mm,
at home and everyone's watching their phones, why don't you start selling this product online to sustain like your income?"
yeah,
So I created a
smart.
website in a week and I put all these bottles, maybe 30 influencers in Chicago. I DM them. I said, "You don't know me. I have this business. I'm trying to, get this into your guys' hands. You guys talk about it if you like it. If you don't talk about it." I would say probably 90% of the people, some of them just didn't open it, but everyone that tried it loved it. And they were all doing free promo for me because they
Huh,
were like for small business. They were bored. They liked the product. So they started posting this stuff and I started getting a ton of sales, like the most sales I've ever gotten online still to this day. And so it
wow.
kind of
During
like,
COVID.
yeah, during COVID. So it made me feel like, okay, you're not done. Like you can also now sell this product, which before I was like, no, I'm not going to sell product. I'm just going to do sprays. Like I don't want to be pushy. No,
Yeah.
now you have something. People like your product. People believe in what you have to say and your expertise. And so once the world opened back up, these people saw this product. They've been using my product at home for months, but they didn't know who
Mm,
I was. And they're like, now I'm invited to weddings, birthdays, bat mitzvahs, whatever. I'm going to come to your salon and get sprayed by you too. So
wow.
from there, it went crazy. It went from like 12 clients a month to like 70 by myself, like in a little salon suite.
By yourself, meaning you're doing every spray.
Every spray. I'm answering the phones, doing the emails, booking the appointments, doing the payments and whatever, and the reviews and all the things, cleaning. I mean, it's really messy business. So I was working like 7 a.m. to like 9 p.m. So, and the
Oh,
phones are going
wow.
off the hook. I quit my serving job. I was like, it was just chaos. So I'm like,
Oh, I bet.
yeah, I was like, I think I need to hire an assistant. So that's when I hired my first assistant and slowly things started kinda going from there, and
I
then
see.
yeah, so that was just a salon suite.
And how were the product sales? Like, how much were you able to sell on a monthly basis during
I
the height of
mean,
COVID?
honestly, probably like 15,000, which is not a lot to some people, but our product is like it sells for $40.
Oh,
So,
wow.
it was a lot for not no marketing, not paying any influencers, literally just
Just organic.
organic. Yeah, I'm like, I
That's
wish I
great.
could still do that organically. Like, people were just obsessed with it and they were prepaying for packages, pre-buying spray tans, even though they never met me. Like, it was
Mhm.
really a magical time, I would say.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool. And then for your salon suite, how big was the space, your first space? And
it
how much
was
was rent?
so my rent was 1375 and that was in
Okay.
2020. I think it was like basically like a walk-in closet size with a sink. Yeah.
So really small,
Yeah, that's it.
like 100 square feet,
Yeah, I think it's like
something like that.
110 square feet. Uh-huh.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And you were doing all the sprays and then you hired an assistant,
Yep.
and what would he or she do?
She was 16 years old and she was in pageant, so I sponsored her for her stuff. And she would answer the phones, and then she eventually started being like a greeter. Like we didn't really have a front desk. It was just like a sliding glass window and you just come right in, but I would have people there and they're changing and whatever. So we had a common space where she would greet them, seat them, check them in, check them out, so I could just get them in and out. And it just went
Mhm.
like that. So that's kind of what
Mm.
her job was, make sure everyone's happy, tell them like the aftercare instructions. If they get lost, like, answer the phone for them, like, we're in the back or whatever. So she was like the
Gotcha.
buffer, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, for this suite that's 100 square feet, you mentioned there's a common area. describe the layout a bit for me.
Yeah, so it was next to like a breakfast restaurant and a gym was upstairs. So big strip mall, like a big group of salon suites. I was the only spray tanner, but there was mostly hair. Some was like one massage therapist, kind of like a circle almost. And each one
Mm,
was like 100 square feet. Sometimes people knock down the middle and they would have two combined so they
I
could get
see.
more clients. But yeah, it was just like a very normal salon suite that you see like now they're kind of all over.
Yeah. Okay. You started off with just around 10 people in your basement. Now you're getting 70 clients and made your first hire. What happens next?
Yeah, so from there, then, I was married, I had dogs, I had a lot of responsibility. I was building a house, so I had my personal life too.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think I need to hire another person to help me spray. So I slowly hired that, another assistant. People would come and go because what I learned in our industry is beauty, people do come and go. Like they start off really strong and then they have a baby or they have to go
Mm,
back to school or sometimes they just can't handle. I mean, it's a tough business. I mean, 50 people on average or 60 people on average a day, that's like a really intense like spraying, not drinking a lot of water, no break
yeah.
for lunch, like, you kinda just take it as it comes, you know? So,
Yeah.
not everyone can last, and on top of that, it's really catty, and we live in Chicago, and people don't really like to see at the time, I was married to a very successful finance guy. We had a nice house, dogs, like 2 French bulldogs. So on social media, people are like, "Oh, and now you have a successful business." I don't think
Mm,
so. I learned a lot. I learned right away, like, you think people are gonna be happy for you, but, we started getting people, like, making fake appointments or not showing or making bad reviews if they, like, didn't like you in high school or
oh my
really
gosh.
crazy stuff, and I started taking it all in, and I'm like, "Whoa." Like, I'm just trying to, like, build a brand and do something I love, and there's a lot of people watching, and, it
Mm,
was it was a lot. So, that
how did you deal with that?
honestly, I had definitely had a therapist, um,
Yeah.
and I would talk about it with other business owners, and I realized that they went through the same thing. They're like, "Oh, yeah, you're gonna learn most people you think that are gonna support you, like friends, family, they're probably not gonna be your supporters. It's gonna be strangers that support you the most." So I really had to learn
Wow.
thick skin. I'm very naive and I'm very like, "Oh, I want everyone to do well," and, like,
Yeah.
everything's so innocent, and then I was like, "Whoa." Like, I had people getting a job with me to just learn my technique, my skill, my knowledge, my solution, and also get
To
access to
copy.
my clients to copy and to open, like, down the street or to take my staff or, like, really intense, like, it was tough. Like, I realized
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of friends in this world.
Huh.
Yeah.
How long did this period of difficulty happen for?
I mean, it was pretty intense. It was pretty instant once things started rolling. But I would say probably, like, a good 2 to 3 years, like, I had to leave my space because I was so busy and some of the other people in the space were jealous. So they
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, her assistant's in our way," or "There's just too many people, like too many people coming and going." And they were like trying to make it seem like she's loitering. I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like my service is
Yeah.
15 minutes, yours is 3 hours. So like you're going to see people coming and going, but like what's the problem with that, you know?
Mm,
So yeah, so I dealt with it for a long time and then now I've changed who I am. Now I teach other people because I do spray tan certifications. I
mm.
add that to my course. Like, hey, just so you know, this is a part of business. People are gonna copy you. People are gonna come
Yep.
after people are gonna be so not nice to you and you're so innocent. You're like, I'm just trying to like make money for my husband and I. Like and to have kids and maybe be a stay-at-home mom one day. Like I wasn't coming for anyone. I wasn't copying anyone. I didn't want to take anyone down, but I realized when you have a good product or, like you're good with people, like people don't like it. So,
Mm.
yeah.
And this was so, you started in 2020 and then you said for 2 to 3 years as you were getting more successful,
Yeah.
you were developing more haters even amongst your peers in the
Yeah.
same studio space and then also from people online, and then you had to move out to a new location. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah, we were so busy that I try to work with my landlord. I'm like, "Hey, can I knock down this wall and pay double rent? Like, I love this space. I want to stay here." But he's like, "I already signed with someone else, so no."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So it was challenging to find a storefront because it was COVID. Businesses and, where I'm at, it's a suburb. So big companies own these complex malls. It's not like mom and pop. So you have to have a
Yeah.
lot of money, a lot of establishment. They're like, "Who's this girl? Like, you've been in business for 2 years. Like, we don't really care, you know?" So I had to put my house as collateral to sign my lease. My husband, who's never been a part of my job, now he's my ex-husband, he's never been a part of my business. He had to sign my lease with me. Like, we had to do a guarantee of like $100,000 and
Wow.
all this stuff just to sign a lease. Like, you know,
So tell me a bit more about this new space. So, like, where is it? How big is it? How much did it cost? Because it
yeah.
must be a lot if you're having to put up, your house.
Yeah. Honestly, it's not even that much. So it's 1,200 square feet. So the company that owned it at the time, it was just like a big hedge fund that owned it. And they wanted me to, have the financials, which I had. They wanted at the time, I had a house that I just built. It was, worth like about 2 million. So we put that as collateral. My ex-husband, he was on the lease, so was I.
Yeah.
And we both had great credit. So like we really had to like show. When I did see the spaces, I'll just point this out there. I would pull up and some of the other people I would meet that did have, like, more mom and pop shops, they were like, "Is that your husband's car?" Like, they couldn't believe that a woman was, like, working her tail off and, like, opening
Oh
this
no.
business. And then they would say stuff like, "Well, let's talk to your husband and your dad
Oh
to see if you
man.
could afford this." And I'm like, "What era am I living in?" Like, I couldn't believe my
That's
ears.
crazy.
So when I got this place, I'm like, "Okay, whatever. I'm used to all the nonsense." So I showed them like, the style because they were worried. They're like, "Well, spray tans, like, what is it gonna look like? Like, what's your style?" So I was like, "Okay, well, I just built this house, so it looks like this, and I'm,
Yeah.
like, mimicking this vibe," and it was very girly in here, so I made it super girly. This used to be a vet hot like, an animal hospital.
Hmm.
Gutted it. It was in shambles, elevated it. My rent at the time was like 37.50. And then I think I put with my like literally with cash like 100K into it the first year.
Into
So it
the
was like a
renovations
major,
and
yeah, major like renovation. At the time, it was COVID, so everything was really expensive, like super expensive to do anything because all the people were
yeah.
working on everything else and supplies were expensive. So I definitely overpaid, but that was the name of the game. And so we got started and it was definitely a struggle. I mean, it was such a big increase in, what I was used to and I had to be there all day, every day. And it's different when you have a storefront. People expect a certain like elevated experience. You're not just this little girl in a little room, right? Like
Yeah.
they understand that more. Storefront, where I'm at, I'm in Oak Brook. So we have one of the most beautiful malls, very high end, right across the street. 100,000 cars pass the street that I'm on. So
Wow.
very busy. We're surrounded by very affluent areas, you know? So people really expect like Four Seasons service, but they
Yeah.
don't necessarily want to pay that. But it's funny. But when you answer the phone, like if you're open on Mondays, you better be there from 9 till 10 or whatever. So it was a lot. It was very stressful, I will say, but
Yeah.
it was worth
And
it.
what time was this during COVID? Was this 2022,
I think
2023, or
2022. Yeah,
in
2022.
2022?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you open up the space, you spent 100,000 out of your own pocket to
Yeah.
renovate the space. How is the reception now? Does it open to, like, fully booked, days, or yeah, what happens?
We have done we did 2 renovations since because we just kept expanding. So at the time I had 2 rooms. Now I have 4 for just spray tanning. I have a
Yeah.
big space in the middle where I rent out to hairstylists. So I didn't just do sprays here anymore. I do hair and makeup for weddings. I do hair and makeup for events, TV, whatever. I rent out 4 chairs to hairstylists, and they do dye, cut, perms, all that. I have 2 rooms. Oh, I have 1 room behind me, and that's an aesthetics room. So we do body sculpting, waxing, facials. I rent that room out, and then we have like a laundry room, break room, podcast room. So we really like expanded. In the beginning, it was just sprays and then 2 rooms. And then, you know, with the times and what people want, we offer like kids spa parties. We do events where businesses come in and sell their
Mm,
products. Now we do permanent jewelry. Like we do so many different services, like kind of like all in one. So it's
yeah,
kind of more of like a communal events, not just spray tan. So it's really good.
that's
A
really
lot.
cool, and
Yeah.
this is all under the sort of Glow Up brand,
Yeah.
and this is your space, and it started off with 2, and now there's 4 spray tan rooms, but then you brought 4 chairs for hair and
Mhm, and
lashes
makeup,
and
yep, mhm.
makeup, and okay, so how many people or how many employees are in the space at any given point in time?
So, it kinda depends. Certain days are slower, so, like, Monday, Tuesday, like, I don't know, 1 to 2 could be in here, couple hairstylists. But then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's when most of the staff, so maybe like 5 to 6, and
Yeah.
then we'll have, I mean, our appointments are 15 minutes long, so we have 4 rooms going every 15 minutes, and then we'll have people waiting, then people in the hair area, a couple facials, and people just stop by because they wanna hang out, and we have coffee, and we sell product, and I just like to talk to my people, you know? So it could be really busy or it could be kind of quiet. It just depends on what's going on. Now we have the permanent jewelry, so people just want to come in and get like a bracelet really quick with their daughter or with their best friend. So it really just depends.
Yeah. And I know that you mentioned for the hair and makeup, you were renting those out to other people. So those are not your own employees, but those are people renting the chair space. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, and we help them, so they rent from us. Sometimes, like, one of the girls, she'll do some stuff, but, it just depends on who's working for us at the time. I have a lot of people that don't work in the salon, but we have a whole team that do hair and makeup on site for weddings. So on the weekends in the summer and, like, early fall, we'll be
Yeah,
up, like, the peninsula, or we'll be in Wisconsin at like 5 a.m. doing hair and makeup. So we don't necessarily need the space, do the preview for the bride like months prior, but day
I
of,
see.
we'll be getting all those ladies ready, or we'll get that group of ladies in for sprays on Wednesday, and then we'll see them on Saturday and do their hair and makeup.
On site.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So those are more like 1099 employees.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like from when you started in your basement with just 10 people to now, and you mentioned that there was 1,100,
Yeah.
sprays per month and probably more people doing hair and makeup. Overall, like, how much can Glow Up bring in each month?
I mean, it kinda depends. Sometimes, like, in the past, it was, like, 68,000, 70,000, a
Wow.
month, which is insane, and it's
Yeah.
seasonal, right? Like, we'll have, like, 3 months like that, and then we'll have, when it's slow. For us, spring is really insane, like March, April, May, insane. May is always my craziest month. That's the like 1100, it's always been crazy. Then June, July, August, like 500 to 700
Yep.
people. And then kind of, the winter kind of depends, holidays, and then it slows down like January, Feb. So some months can be like 25, you know?
Hmm.
It kind of flows. So I've had it for a while, 6 years in total, so I
Yeah.
know the way, right? And I always try to teach my new staff. I'm like, "You guys, I know you're tired." Like, we've extended our hours when we didn't have all the rooms to get
Yeah.
everyone in for, like, homecoming prom till, like, 11 PM. And they're like, "We're so tired." I'm like, "I know, but next week when it's dead, you guys are gonna be complaining about money, so just trust me. I'm gonna buy you guys pizza. I'm gonna feed you. You're gonna have waters. It's gonna be fun." I've had, like, photo booths come in, DJs on those crazy days just to make it fun for, like, the people that are coming in and for my staff, because it's like feast or famine, right? Business is like, and then it's like,
Ah,
or like it just goes normal. My staff is like, "Wait, it's so dead." I'm like, "You guys, it's not really dead. We're just used to like psychotic." You know what I mean?
how has your time changed in terms of what you spend your time on in the beginning to now? Because in the beginning, you're doing sprays, but what is a typical day like for you?
I mean, honestly, my day is crazy. I I now do the trainings. So I teach other people how to start their own spray tan business. I do the certifications. I wholesale our products and our formula to other businesses. So I am
Mm,
now taking Glow Up more to a bigger scale. I'm trying to find locations to expand possible business partners. So I'm working on scaling. Every day, one, I'm working on our online presence because I've had people in the past and I like doing it myself. I don't want to keep wasting money on things that just don't really have a return and it's not my vision. So
yeah.
I'm working more on the creative side. I'm doing stuff like being on podcasts, starting my own, finding things that I'm interested in that I'm like, I think this is the next trend. I think
Mm,
this is something we should kind of get into, you know, like business development. Now we're trying to get our products into big retail. Can
yeah.
I fulfill those orders? So working with my chemist, changing our product, the labels, the way that it looks on the shelf, like doing stuff like that, that's what I'm doing on top of training new people because all my
Yeah.
kids are going to college. So
Yeah.
I had really good staff, but they're literally one's going to Spain, one's going to nursing school. So now I'm like, now I have to curate these new girls, teach them our way and make sure
Yeah.
that they stay. So that's like my day to day, like just work on the business, not so much hands on. Like today, I did makeup in the morning, ran to a business meeting, came back doing the podcast, now doing a video shoot somewhere else. So just kind
Yeah.
of all over, you know?
That's really interesting. And I know for a lot of brick and mortar owners, the typical way to think about growing the business is, oh, I have to open up another location or a few more locations. But I
Hmm.
think you've also found a way where just using this one location, you've been able to wholesale your products to
Hmm.
retailers, sell it online, sell
Yeah.
your method to other tanning salons,
Yeah.
host events at your studio, do
Yeah.
offsite.
Here.
How do you manage all those different pieces, or how do you think about, because there's probably 5 different business lines under the Glow Up umbrella.
Yeah. I honestly think that I'm kind of insane. I think you have to be a little insane. I do. I feel like you have to have a little bit of ADHD to like
Yeah.
these ideas and kind of it just kind of like works. Like I have like a really I have to be honest, I always find really good assistants and I have
Mm,
all these things in my brain really organized and I operate day to day. I shoot things out like, I'm like, we have the podcast. My assistant was doing my hair. I'm throwing on my makeup. I'm like, set up the camera, do this, do that. And then after this, now I'm going to the next thing. I don't
yeah,
think, and maybe I'm different. I don't think like so far out. I'm like, we need to figure out the task at hand. Obviously, things are always planned, but like, okay, this is due today. Let's work on that. Lots of
yeah,
checklists. I work with a lot of attorneys. I work with a lot of people that help me with business, accountants. Like we have a good team. So I feel like that's how I'm able to get a lot done. And then honestly, I think my brain just operates differently than other people. Like I don't know how
yeah,
to put it, to be honest. And maybe the people that watch us, they are the same.
yeah,
Or maybe they're not, you know?
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess to be an entrepreneur, you do have to be a little bit crazy
Yeah.
to step away from the
Yeah.
comfortableness of a stable job and health insurance and all that.
Yeah. I think they call it Delulu. You have to have a little Delulu.
Yeah, a little delulu.
Yeah.
For people that are interested in starting a brick and mortar business in the beauty and aesthetic space, what advice would you have for them?
Well, this kind of goes into the last question and this one together. I think one, believing in yourself and having a good team and being able to delegate. I think that
Mm,
if you really, really want to do well, you're going to have to learn how to give tasks and jobs and let it go to someone else. Because like I just said, I have all these things in my mind. I have to put it down and delegate it. Like, okay, you have to call this person, send this note to that person. Let's finish this deal. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I think that's a big one. And I notice a lot of people, they're like, I don't want to have all that. I just want to worry about myself, which is fine, do that. But as long as you believe in yourself, like, okay, you
mhm,
know that you only can manage yourself. But I know I can manage people. It's very hard. It's the hardest part of my job, but I know I could do it because I'm a natural born leader. and I wanna do it. It gives me like it does something for me. So
Yeah.
maybe find what you're passionate about, figure out your why. Like, are you doing this because you wanna stay home with your family? Or are you doing this to grow and to help others? Just really believe in yourself and believe in your mission. If you don't believe in it, who's gonna believe in it, right? So I feel like those are like major things. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'm really not. Just really have a good product and really stand behind it. And I think education, like if you do hair extensions, educate people why they should be getting yours. Or,
Yeah.
you know, if you want to stay home with your family and your kids and you're working just to do that, do it with grace. Like, love that. You don't have to have a storefront. You don't have to have 20 employees. Like, just do whatever you do best, right? That's what I
I
think.
like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I know that you focus more on the day to day and executing there, but what are your plans over the next, call it 3 to 5 years? And what are some of your goals?
Yeah, so honestly, I would love to open another location. I'm trying to figure out exactly where. I am going to be moving part-time to a warmer climate, either Florida or Arizona. I think probably Florida. It's always been my goal. I have a lot of personal things that were bringing me down there.
Hmm.
So I want to see like right now I'm kind of meeting with different investors, different possible partners to see like what it's going to look like. My goal is to ultimately one day maybe franchise Glow Up, kind of like how Dry Bar was or waxing in the city. I really
Yeah.
like that model, but at the same time, a lot of them don't exist anymore. Or, I don't want things to just go away. I want it to be sustainable, but I also want my products to be in everyone's hands. I believe in the brand and I believe in the product. So I'm working on kind of being separate. Like the salons are separate from the product, and how does that look? So I'm kind of figuring that out myself. I was married, now I'm not. So I also am like, I don't want to kill myself and one day be like, man, I didn't really get to enjoy all of this. Like
Yeah.
I have all this cool business and whatever, but like, did I get to enjoy the process?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do things where if it brings me joy, so it's going to be sustainable and can maybe pay for my retirement. Can I sell it? I would love to sell this one day, but I have to get there. So that's kind of what I'm working on for the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I also just wanted to give you some space if you wanted to talk about sort of on the personal side of
Yeah.
maybe running such a demanding business,
Mhm.
and how that may or may not affect relationships. Yeah, would love to give you
Yeah.
space if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty open about it on my social media. I went through a really like traumatizing divorce, unfortunately. This might help someone watching, but what happened with me was I was with someone that was really successful and I was like kind of like their person that like made everything nice for them and just yes, 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 yes to them. And then I was like, okay, but it's my turn to like do something. And when it became my turn, it was like kind of like a battle. So
Mm,
I feel like I started shining and it wasn't going to fly in my relationship.
yeah,
So it definitely did suffer. And I will say, if I didn't have my business and the income and the knowledge that I learned in business and kind of the things that I got taken advantage or I wasn't used to working with lawyers and accountants and this until I did with business. I probably wouldn't be able to like finish my divorce the way I did. I
hmm,
would have been taken advantage. I mean, I really went through the ringer and I was able to afford through like having my business, like my attorneys, my forensic accountant, and to like have like things still look the way that they're supposed to look. So I will say that if you invest in your business and yourself, especially being a female, married or not, it really helped me in my life.
yeah,
So my personal relationship, not the best. I think it was gonna happen with or without the business. It just
mm,
kind of added, it got there
accelerated
quicker.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, accelerated. But I will say having your own thing and having your own resources, your own attorneys, and like kind of having a business sense, you're able to fight a little bit better.
thank you for sharing that. And I
Yeah.
think that's really valuable advice for anyone listening. So, sort of last question for me is, you've been on this journey for about 6 years now, and have a lot more insight and experience than when you first started. Is there
hmm
anything that you would have done differently in the beginning, knowing what you know now?
One, I think I would have started this way sooner.
Hmm,
I wish I would have gone to beauty school years prior when I originally wanted to. I was kind of pushed to not because people said, "You'll never make money," or "It's not a good
Yeah.
job." Like, go to school to be a nurse, you know? And now I'm like, I do better than nurses. So, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I have my freedom and I get to be expressive. So I wish I started sooner. I wish I believed in myself sooner. I wish I didn't have as much fear. I was very fearful. I'm like, "Oh my God, my rent's gonna be 1,300." I'm like, "Oh my God, now our rent's like our bills are like 25,000." Like, like things like, or like I didn't know that you can get lines of credit. I didn't know that I can get a car through my business. Like, I didn't know all these things because no one really teaches you this,
Yep.
So I wish I knew that sooner. And I also wish I didn't keep people on my team or around me that were like showing signs of like betrayal. Like, I wish I got rid of them sooner. And
Yeah.
now I do. And just been more like transparent. Like, hey, I know you're trying to take advantage. I'm not here for it. I wish you the best. Let's keep it moving. Like, I allowed too many people to stay and like it kind of like hurt my business.
Starting earlier, firing fast. I hear this quite a bit
Uh,
because it's tough to let people go because you feel
uh,
somewhat responsible. You made the hire, you want to give them chances, but sometimes that's the best decision for both parties.
yeah,
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast today and
yeah.
sharing your experience with us. I'm sure our audience will gain a lot from listening to this and hopefully be able to start their own businesses in a much better way because of this.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thanks for having me. I can't wait to hear your other podcasts.
Awesome. And then if people want to reach out to you or learn more about Nicole and Glow Up, what's the best way for them to
Yeah.
do so?
I think finding us on social media, sending us a DM or via email. So we are Glow Up with no W. So it looks like Gloop Chicago on Instagram. And then our email, Nicole at glowupchicago.com. And then our website, which will take you to all ways to contact us, is glowupco.com. So
Okay,
we're all over
cool.
the internet, call, email. I'm like an open book. So
Awesome. Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, feel free to visit openingsoonpodcast.com for all of our episodes online. If you run a retail store and need updated furniture or signage, please feel free to visit www.signsandmirrors.com. Lastly, if you have any feedback or like to be a guest on the show, email me at alan, ALAN, at signsandmirrors.com. I promise I'll respond. Thanks for listening.